Sometimes in World of Warships, the stars align, and beautiful things happen. Enter Mainz. This game started out like any other, but it sure didn't end that way. So without wasting any time, let's check it out. So yes, the stars aligned for the gameplay. Some crap came along with it though. Midway through this match, my drive that holds the recordings filled up. Turns out every one of these 4K game files is around 10 gigabytes, so if you're not watching, stuff like this could happen, and of course it happened right in the middle of an 8-kill game. It doesn't happen in the game where me and the Z23 spawn on a flank with the Saipan and a Cleveland. No, of course not. That turd of a game is still there perfectly. Anyways, we miss around 1 minute of gameplay in the middle, but otherwise this one is too good not to share. We're on Haven. It's capture the base mode, aka team deathmatch, where we want to lay waste to everything that moves. My division mate, the Harzer, is in his Richelieu, and if you ever see this guy's name on the open seas, you should do everything you can to get him out of the match immediately. He will ruin your day. Before we get into the heat of battle, let me show you how I set my mines up. She's a unique German top-tier cruiser because of her main battery consisting of 152mm guns instead of the 203s found on Hipper, Eugen, and the Rune. Aiming systems, prop, rudder, and MBM3. My go-to commander is Azerlane Hipper. She has a good blend of offensive and defensive perks, and the inspirations are Reigerwald and Muller. Now, if you're a free-to-play commander, I would go with Karl von Muller and lean mostly towards DPM. And Agile Mainz is an option too if you have a high-level Luchtgens. You could get the rudder right under 3 seconds, 37 knots top speed, and a 720 turn circle. You can do decent with this gameplay style. If you happen to have Augustin Reigerwald, his buffs to AP shells with the skills Kraken shells is pretty ridiculous, and that's a solid choice as well. Mainz, I would consider one of the strongest cruisers at tier 7, up there with the Ochakov. She just has so much going for her. The best AP DPM of any tier 7 ship, the 4th best for high explosive shells, and keep in mind though that it's German HE, so it penetrates 38mm of armor stock, so less shatters than Suzuya, Cleveland, and Montpellier, the higher HE DPM boats at the tier. She has 16 torpedoes and a decent degree of survivability. Sure, she's wrapped in 25mm of armor, but she has an icebreaker bow, a below-the-water citadel, and turtleback armor. Throw in German hydroacoustic search and heals, and this is a very scary cruiser to go up against. My division mate and I are the only 2 ships on this flank, so we're moving up together. Mainz cannot go head-to-head out here in the open with the ships like Georgia, Alaska, Bismarck, and I think there's a Baltimore as well. So I'm going to use these islands to set up a crossfire with our Richelieu and to keep myself protected from incoming salvos. And yes, there was a blue team Minotaur on our flank, briefly. But I don't think he counts. Legend has it he is already searching for another game in his next legendary ship. So the Mainz, sure, you can park behind islands and farm, but that's really not using her to the best of her ability. Moving up a flank to make use of this nasty AP is the best thing you could do in a situation like this. Like her other German cruiser sister ships, she does really well using islands to mask approaches on enemy ships and can be great at ambushes and tear enemy ships apart before they even realize what happened. And the Baltimore and the Bismarck are about to find that out the hard way. The AP shells are just ridiculous when you use them correctly. Broadside battleships, even heavily armored ones like the Bismarck, aim for the upper belt, aim for the superstructure, and you can rip them to shreds, 4 or 5k each salvo. Now, some additional hidden stats that some of you might not have known about. When compared to the Weimar, Mainz actually has faster shell velocity. This allows her shells to fly through the air faster, it makes it easier to aim at longer ranges, and you probably get a little bit extra shell penetration out of it, I suppose, because of the higher velocity. On that note, I do really wish more statistics, more hidden stats like this were readily available to us gamers. To be honest, how many of us actually knew Mainz had faster flying shells? I didn't until a CM told me in the Discord, and I do wish more of us were privy to that information. The community manager responded that most console Warships players don't care about such stats. They assume console players are more casual than their PC counterparts. And to a degree, I think that's true, but I also think there are plenty of people like you and like me that would like to know stuff like that. And not only shell velocity, but thresholds for shells arming, fuse timers, flood chances per torpedo, yada yada yada. So we don't get this info because apparently we're more laid back than PC gamers, or it just hasn't been implemented to our version of the game. Or is there a more nefarious reason for not sharing this information, such as behind the scenes nerfs, buffs, changes? I don't know. You can decide for yourself. All right, kill 3. Now we have an Atago rushing our division mate, and this is where OBS popped up and said, disk space full. So we definitely lose a little bit of gameplay there. What you missed was the Harzer and I gunning down the Atago, and he doing most of the lion's share of the damage, but me getting the kill. Let's face it, if you're getting 8 kills in a game, there's going to be some yoinkage going on, but we do get a high cal, so it's not that bad. It's not like we had a 45,000 damage 8 kill game. 4v4 means that as fast as we're putting the Reds down over here, they're doing the same to our flank over there. Georgia's quickly coming around the corner, so we're going to send him some 533mm danger fishies. This part could have been very precarious. Usually a good BB player will bait torpedoes, slam on the brakes, and go hard to starboard and let all of the torps fly in front of them. I guess I would have had 8 more torps waiting for him if he did that. However, it would have forced me out in front of the Yamato and the Prince Eugen. World of Warships is all about cause and effect. You do this, that causes the enemy to do that, and then the dominoes kind of unfold as the game moves forward. It's very interesting to think what could have happened if just one player would have reacted a little differently. Would we have gotten 8 kills? I don't know. Our teammate smacks the Prince Eugen, and I don't know how we survived that Yamato blast. It was too far forward of a shot, and the shells all kind of flew through the bow. Prince Eugen goes broadside. We get him out of the match, and there's only 2 Reds left. A Yamato here and a low health black over in the middle of the map. Now we are desperately trying not to give Yamato another crack at me, because I might not get so lucky again. But unfortunately we're going to get plane spotted here, and he'll be able to lob the shells right over the island. So the best thing we can do is try to accelerate and turn in as quickly as possible, and 8 over pins. The aim was probably a little bit high, but I think we kind of out-accelerated some of the shells too because they were far back on the ship. So we got lucky again. Black gets spotted briefly, so we're going to try to blind fire him in his smoke screen. Yamato has too much health for me to whittle down here. Now speaking of luck, it's not lost on me how much is involved in getting 8 kills in a match. But more than luck, I would say it's having an awesome division mate. Every time a ship's about to engage me, swiftly gets a blast of 15-inch shells from the Harzer, usually leaving them on life support for me to take out, and the Yamato, as you saw there, is no different. Why Yamato chose to completely give up his broadside to a battleship, I will never know, but I'm also not going to complain, and we're going to give this blind fire thing another shot. If you're ever curious about how to pull this off, look where the shells are coming from and aim a little lower, and then you just need to predict if the ship's going forward or if they're going backwards. And with that, that's 8 kills. I'm a little heartbroken, of course, that the recording was screwed up, but I hope you guys enjoyed it anyways. Do me a solid, smash the thumbs up button, and be sure to subscribe to not miss any future videos. We ended up with 3,300 base, high cal, and all the goodies. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.